All right. Well, all that being said, let's go and get into it. ANTIGRIND versus Mega NA Advanced ESEA League Season 53 action underway now. We're in the knife round to decide who is going to come out and get to choose that side. Probably going to be CT side. In fact, it's almost always CT side that the winning team chooses. And just going back and forth, neither one wanting to engage with the other. Finally, engagements come through, and it will be ANTIGRIND. Looks like, yeah, absolutely no chance at all for Say You Will. And ANTIGRIND going to start on CT side, probably. Would surprise me to see them going on T side here. Probably just have to wait for that final restart before we get going. And I imagine that CT side will be their final destination. Hope you guys are all doing well in the chat. And there it is, yes. ANTIGRIND will in fact be starting CT side. Let's see what they can do. Rosters for each side: Mega, Cobalt, Strafes, Say You Will, Purple and Panda, or Pernurple Panda, there we go, and Fazera. On the other side, it's Jumble, Knifa, Myline, Five Lazy, and Abby Dog for ANTIGRIND. Here we go. Pistol round is now underway. Mega going to send all 5 players in towards that B side, and ANTIGRIND did the opposite. They sent everyone towards A, and 1 player watching window. So this is going to be a free site take for Mega. A very rare stack, I would say, seeing that in pistol round. Usually you just spread your forces around and have at least 2 on each bomb site, or at least 1 player. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. Myline did rotate around in time to get a headshot onto Strafes. It will yield a bomb plant anyway for Mega, but there's a chance for ANTIGRIND to get back into this round off of that frag. Say You Will. Down there towards Market. Fazera missing the shots. Finally does connect with an important one onto Abby Dog. Pernurple Panda working around. Fazera getting a couple, and Pernurple Panda will get the last. Opening round goes the way of Mega. Pretty cleanly at that. Just went to the right bomb site, honestly, just to break that one down. Just because of the fact that ANTIGRIND gambles and stacks the A site, which could be in a read on the way Mega likes to play Mirage. I don't really think so. I think they just kind of took a chance and put everyone on the A site because they did that, and Mega did the opposite, sending everyone to B. I mean, yes, you do have a player on Market who gets a headshot and it's a frag, but I mean, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because Mega have full control of that B site, and that player's on the outside looking in, especially after those smokes are thrown. So, I mean, well done by Mega to use that utility they had in that pistol round to effectively isolate all of ANTIGRIND, and after that, they just positioned themselves well to allow for no threats to really materialize at all. Pernurple Pandas, he's in a really bad spot. This is not good. He needs to get out of here and get into the site, and he does. The rest of his team moving in towards A. Knifa gets the first frag. Will eventually get traded here. Say You Will going towards spawn. And again, ANTIGRIND, unfortunately for them, gamble wrong. Knifa was the only player in position to really do damage. And now, I mean, given the fact that it's just an eco, ANTIGRIND are probably going to try and chase as much as they can and try to get the guns out of the hand of Mega. Out of the hands, I should say. Fazera will have none of that. He is keeping a firm grip on that AK. Cobalt slips through the broken wall. Easy peasy there. And yeah, this is going as you would expect here. Will be 2-0 for Mega after that bomb explodes, or 5 Lazy dies, whichever comes first. But the gun round will be coming through for ANTIGRIND after this. Oh, Say You Will? Yeah, eventually we'll get that. If there's any other gun in 5 Lazy's hands other than the USP, then maybe Say You Will dies, but that was, of course, not the case. So here we go. A1Ss for almost everyone on ANTIGRIND. Abby Dog having to settle for an MP9. That won't be too bad. Mega, 3 AKs and 2 MAC-10s is not too shabby going into what is pretty much a bonus round. Only Pernurple Panda is below the 2K mark, having to buy down here to get that AK and util. So Mega, despite the fact that on paper ANTIGRIND has been able to get more rounds for on every single map than Mega, and have been a team that's played pretty close Counter-Strike on every single match. They do have the early lead. We'll see how far they can carry this forward, though. Good spam from my line. Purple Panda gone. Nade sails through, misses the mark entirely. My line will just jump right back into that smoke and window. Cobalt jumps up on bench, looking for targets at Cat, but that doesn't happen. Now we'll fall back. All right, Fazera's readjusting himself. He's going with Say You Will towards this A site. They've got a player in Palace as well. ANTIGRIND have that balcony player, or underneath balcony player. That could create some chaos, but you would imagine with Mega having so much util, they're going to throw the Molotov there. If they don't, I'd be surprised. They're not going to. So this could be a free frag for Jumble. It is, but he does get traded immediately. So good awareness from Say You Will. Man advantage retained for ANTIGRIND, but the bomb gets planted here, and Cobalt's in a great spot to punish, but he can't finish the job against MyLine. That would have been a 3v3. Instead, it's a 4v2. Say You Will trying to pull it back here. Good frag. On to Lazy. Back and forth we go, though. Still a chance for Strafes to clutch this one, especially with MyLine down to 12 HP. There's the 1v1. A couple of headshots come through from the MP9 in long range, but Strafe still has the advantage with that bomb being planted. Abby Dog has to try and chase him down, and Strafes gets the edge. Flashbang thrown, can't finish the job with the shots. It is so messy here. Finally, Strafes gets it. Shaking around there, perhaps a little frustrated with himself, but all players will die in the round. No! Strafes managed to survive. The bomb doesn't explode. Just in the nick of time for him to save that A1S. A little bit of typing coming through there. I'm sure they're having a little bit of a laugh at how that one was pretty miserable for both sides in terms of the aim, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. At least for Mega. Because they are going to get a third round under their belts. ANTIGRIND, it felt like they were going to be able to win that round, but Mega just kept on hanging in there despite being in a man advantage situation. They get themselves that third. All right, Mega putting their foot on the brakes now. And this might be because this is a round that's going to be reset and restarted. Abby, unfortunately for ANTIGRIND, has disconnected here. I'm not sure if we're going to get a sub or if this is just a connection issue. But Abby is no longer here, so we got a timeout called, or eventually going to get a technical timeout called. That might have been the nature of all the typing. Heard a lot of it going back and forth, probably just not live from every single player on ANTIGRIND. Being typed in the server. And now Abby Dog has rejoined. I don't think it was it too late to call not live because of the damage? Okay. Apparently trying to get an admin. I've been informed by production. It just hasn't happened yet. MyLine going to get 3 frags. Again, not sure if this round is going to count, but they're playing like it will. 2v2 here. Lazy just hanging around here in CT spawn, probably just going to save the MP9. Again, though, we'll see what the admin's decision is there. I don't believe that any damage was done. Like, I know we saw a few players that were low, but I don't really think that was from anything in the gameplay. As you guys saw, the round had barely started. So, gonna have to wait for a decision to see if this one will be replayed.
Terrorists win.
But if this round does stand, it'll be 4-0 in favor of Mega. All right, there we go. Yep, so there's the admin. They've joined up. Looks like we're going to get a match medic, and we're going to start again at 3-0. Almost certainly, because that would just be unfair. Having a 5v4 when everyone called not live, you have to go back. So while we wait to get this sorted, going to have a look at how the scoreboard has gone down so far, even though it might not be necessarily representative of everything that's happened given that previous round. You do have my line, who to my knowledge has been very strong here for ANTIGRIND in the early goings, and NIFA as well. Yeah, both of them, even without the frags that happened in that not live round, both of them performing kind of as you would expect. I did mention Knife has been pretty strong, and my line, although he hasn't really played in as many matches this season as Knife and Destro, is still one of the higher ranked players in Face It, so you kind of expect him to have a good impact. We'll see if Lazy and Abby can get their game going here. But yeah, we are reset down to a 3-0 lead for Mega once more. And on their side, I mean, say you will, I mentioned it before, he has to have a big game. He is that key player for their squad that helps them get to victory, and he already has those 5 frags. Let's see now, with everyone back in the server for ANTIGRIND, if they will be able to get that first round on the board. The buy-up isn't that great. They've got an A1S, 2 FAMASs, and 2 MP9s. I think the biggest hindrance for them is the lack of util, right? I mean, you've only got 2 incendiaries, 2 smokes, and 2 flashes. That's not going to be as effective as they need it to be, I would say. Like, you got to deploy those extremely efficiently. I would say that NIFA has enough money to buy at least, you know, a couple pieces of util. Wouldn't hurt, unless he's trying to save the money for another round, but probably best to deploy it here. All right, we're all good to go here, guys. Match Medic is done, and we're back into the action. Round number 4. Fazera and Say You Will be trying to engage here towards top mid, and that flashbang thrown pushes them back for good reason. Yeah, they waited for that push to come through. They knew it was going to happen. NIFA manages to get one. It's a trade that comes through. Say You Will being dropped is very good for ANTIGRIND, and they got information off of it. They lost Abby in the process. Smoke going to get tossed there for window. Mega just hoping to attract attention towards mid. No, it's more than that. They want to make the play into mid. There's the flashbang. You do have Jumble waiting here, and if it goes to B, there's only one player there. That's my line anchoring it down. On the other side, ANTIGRIND have 3 players towards A. So this is where they want Mega to bunch up towards. Jumble gets one, and then a headshot through the smoke that he's not really aware of, other than the audio cue probably, if he even heard it. Strafes pops around that corner. Perfect timing on the execute for Mega. NIFA under a lot of pressure, but still gets 2, almost transfers for the 3rd as well. My line sees Cobalt zipping away towards the A site. Caught him with a shot in the leg, but it wasn't enough to frag him and bag him. So now a 1v1. Cobalt at a disadvantage here in terms of health. There goes the nade. Does some damage against my line, and he's still surviving here with 1 health. Can he use that 1 HP to get the frag? The answer is no. My line will finish the job, and Mega will lose their first round here. It felt like the stars were aligning and that they'd be able to hang on for that round, but it doesn't happen. My line is the one to clutch it out for his squad. And it will be ANTIGRIND finally, as mentioned, on the board. Despite the buy-up not being that great for them, they still find a way to make it work, and that's what counts in the end. 3 AKs, the Galil and the MAC-10 for Mega. On the other side, ANTIGRIND, 2 A1Ss, the AK saved over from that previous round, and 2 MP9s. So, again, it's not the best buy-up for ANTIGRIND. It's a little better than that previous round. This NIFA just going to go for some spam here. Both teams with hopes dreams of ECL perhaps have climbed the ranks from open to advanced, and here, well, they're hoping to find a third win on the season. Strafes and Knifa trade frags. Now Knifa looking for another one, won't get it. Sayuel with a big one, and then Strafes gets a huge trade onto Lazy. That makes it a 3v2 in favor of Mega, and on top of it all, ANTIGRIND's not really in a position to go for a retake here, especially with Sayuel slipping through here in towards CT spawn. He's right behind Abby. He doesn't know it, but if Abby takes too long, this could be costly. There's one that's important though. Pernurple Panda goes down, and MyLine finds Strafes as well, but Sayuel, although his position is known, has been the most potent player, as would be expected. Bomb going to get defused in the smoke. Sayuel doesn't spam it properly, doesn't know where it's planted, and that will give the round here over to ANTIGRIND. MyLine will get the last frag as well. And MyLine has been, along with Knifa, very critical here. 7 frags apiece. They are carrying the team on their backs so far here in these 2-round victories. Mega, on the other hand, it felt like Sayuel was going to have a very strong performance in that round coming up on the flank, but the problem is he lost both his teammates to MyLine, as MyLine was charging down there and trying to clear up the site. So, go in here with the potential of being tied up at 3. Nice shot from Knifa, coming around again for another peek. The problem was that took 80 HP of damage to get that one frag up against pistols. So now Knifa has to play a little more conservatively. Can't go for that window peek again. MyLine, instead, wants some action. Wants to peek into these pistols. And as he does, Mega fall back, so he sees absolutely nothing. He's got an itchy trigger finger. He's going to have to wait a little while to scratch it. Two players waiting here on this B site, which feels like it will be the final destination for Mega. Half buy coming through from them in this round. We're hoping that the Tech 9s and the Eagles will be enough to at least get a bomb plant. Knifa, another frag comes through. Abby Dog takes care of 2 with the MP9, and Sayuel is not long for this round. There it is. MyLine gets the last. 3-3. All tied up after Mega got off to that 3-0 lead. It looked like it was going to be 4-0. But then ANTIGRIND got that 1 on the board, and that's all it takes to open up the floodgates sometimes. Do you have another timeout being called here? This may again be technical in nature. Yeah, we did lose someone on the Mega side this time. So we got to wait for their return. We're all paused up here. There we go. It was Pernurple Panda, who is now back. So we should get started here again in just a moment. Won't need the matchmatic this time, because it looks like all the money is in the right place. So we just need to get those buy-ups through, and we'll be into round number 7. And the previous round, I mean, honestly, a nice effort from Mega to try and get in towards that B site and make it work for themselves. But at the end of the day, ANTIGRIND just had way too good of a setup on the defensive side. The op is watching, the MP9 as well, waiting in a perfect spot in Abby's hands, and they worked together perfectly. There was really nothing Mega could do to even put a dent in the armor of that B site. 7th round. 2 AKs, 2 Galils, and the MAC-10 coming through for Mega. Look at this aggression on ANTIGRIND's side. Pernurple Panda's waiting for it. Or maybe not. Uh-oh. They turn their backs, and now they turn around, but it's too late. Jumbo gets a freebie. 2 in his hands. 5v3 in favor of ANTIGRIND. Now they have to be careful not to over-rotate in the direction of that B site. They won't. Knifa still waiting here with the AWP over at Ticket. Then you have Lazy at Con. So they're pretty good, I would say. Positioning-wise, yeah, 2-1-2 setup. Very strong. Knifa waits, hits the shot, No problem at all. Goes for the repeak, sees the head on the right side. Lazy dropped, although it does a lot of damage onto Fizera before he goes down. Nypha has to wait for reinforcements to arrive. Be a lot of pressure here. Yep, it'll be applied as soon as Myline gets there. Abby Dog, along with Myline, going to take care of business onto Fizera. 4-3 in favor of ANTIGRIND, who have their first lead now of the map. And you see the money situation for Mega isn't great. They can justify a force buy with the loss bonus being full, but it might be better to just do a light buy. Get some pistol upgrades, get some body armor maybe, and then invest once you have like 5 or 6K in the bank off of an eco. Looks like they're going to go a little heavier, or at least Cobalt is. That might just be a hero Galil though. Calling attack timeout to talk things over. Yeah, okay. No, it will be a little heavier. So it's going to be the half buy with Mac 10s, Galils. I imagine that if Strafes and Frizera are going for the Mac 10s, that Say You Will and Purple Panda will as well. Or at least get some pistols and utility up. Yep. Oh no, Say You Will's going all the way in. Not sure how I feel about that. Maybe they decided to just full send it here. At least if they stay above 1K. If you stay above 1K, you're okay with the $3,400 loss bonus, and that is exactly what they were doing. I was a little worried for a moment because I saw one player going a little too low. They're okay. All right, good decision. Mega, just sending it to A. Lazy gets one, traded out immediately. This could be control of the A site gained by Mega, and it will be. Fizera getting that important frag on towards Jumble. Trades going back and forth here. We're sitting at a 2v2. Abby and Purple Panda and Say You Will bomb planted here. Say You Will with the AWP, watching the smoke to see if anyone tries to slip through it. Now looking up towards the stairs, flicks up but can't hit it onto Myline, and then Myline finishes off Purple Panda as well. A little bit of adversity faced there on the side of ANTIGRIND, but they still prevail and get themselves a 5th. I mean, that was actually a nice job by Mega to just blitz towards the A site from both Ramp and Palace, but the problem was that ANTIGRIND were right there every single moment to get the trades and then the advantage, right? At least for a moment before it goes down to a 2v2, but they continued to put their foot on the gas pedal and push right in towards that A site and didn't let Mega get comfortable at any moment in the round. And that's what allows them to hang on for victory. But again, I mean, Mega getting a bomb plant decision, $600 in the bank. They were already going for a half buy, waiting for the loss bonus to give them 4 or 5K in their bank. So that's certainly going to help them with 4 AKs and an op. But oh my goodness, Jumble putting the pressure on. Charges up mid, takes down Cobalt. Nypha spots the player. He knows someone is top mid. He's just waiting for the peak to come through. There's the nade. That's a ton of damage onto Fizera. He's now below half health. And Purple Panda is trying to come around this corner to support him. Has to throw the smoke because the incendiary was thrown right in his direction. The nade as well. He's getting peppered with util. Mortar strikes coming through time and time again onto Fizera. He's down to 9 HP. Hanging on to life by a thread. Still a ton of time left on the clock. A full minute for Mega to work with. Flashbang toss. We're going to try and get into A. Oh, Say You Will looks in the wrong direction, but does manage to flick towards Nypha. That'll make it a 4v4, but takes a decent amount of damage in the process because of the fact that he looked away. Jumble gets one, and there's Lazy with the 3K to finish off the round. Wow, that again. You know, Mega looked like they were going to be able to get in that bomb site. They found Nypha. They got Jumble after Jumble did some damage to them, but Lazy gets the 3K and shuts down any hope of Mega coming through with anything in that round. So now, you know, this loss bonus is still sitting at 3,400, but they're going to have to do the same thing they did a couple of rounds ago and keep their money healthy around the 1K mark. And they do that, but only for 2 players. They take a bit more of a risk with Say You Will and Purple Panda, along with Fizera, fully investing. We'll see if it pays off. I mean, obviously getting a couple of Galils and AK isn't too shabby. You can make this work, but Nypha's been really good with the op, and Myline's been incredible with the rifles, so we'll see. Oh, Panda Important frag, and then the smoke fades, and my line is gone as well. Jumble gonna have to be big here, but that's not even close to big enough. Only one frag, as Say You Will trades him out immediately. Now a 4v2 for Mega. They've still got Knifa to deal with, who has been a thorn in their side. Lazy's waiting here on this A site. Oh my goodness, Lazy. Got a 3K last time. He's going to need probably 2 here. Charges up, gets the first, but he gets dinked in the process there by the Galil. Lucky that wasn't an AK. Trying to ship back towards the A site. Oh, doesn't realize that Strafe's already down onto the site and gets flanked out. Shot to the back from the Deagle. Only Knifa left, and looking at the money situation, he could go for this. Oh my goodness, that might even push him forward towards the site even further. Getting that shot, a lucky one through the smoke on towards Cobalt. But he needs a rifle, and I don't think there's one drop near him. There is not. He would have had to go towards mid. Now looking in towards CT. He has the kit, he's got the util. He doesn't expect strafes here at all. At all. Dead. Like knife out there. No chance at all. Strafes, the 2K, and finally Mega make their way back onto the scoreboard after a 6-0 run in favor of ANTIGRIND. Again, that's, good work towards the A site. Give them credit. They're insistent and persistent, I would say, in their attempts to take that A site. And finally, it strikes true for them. As we go into this next round, still plenty of cash for ANTIGRIND, so Mega going to have to run it back again against a full-on buy-up, but this time they will have an op for themselves and 4 AKs to work with. Say You Will, trying to match Knifa blow for blow. So far, both oppers have delivered. Nade selling through, smoke popped, and there's the Molotov thrown to force Jumble out of con. Mega looking for that mid control, and they will get it. ANTIGRIND not really being that aggressive in their pursuit of mid here. Knifa goes towards the B site. So they have a B lean. They're expecting the bomb and the entirety of Mega to go B. And they still have enough defenders at A to keep them at bay if Lazy and Jumble can hit their shots, and they will absolutely be tested here. Support from my line, perhaps. Yeah, they're going to have to keep an eye on Cat, so that will give potentially an advantage here to Jumble. Purple Panda in the smoke. Cobalt gets that frag, but takes a lot of damage in the process. Is he watching for Jumble? He's not. Jumble gets one for Cobalt's extremely low in con. Jumble knows he's there, but he doesn't look in the right direction. Cobalt, hugging that close corner, does stay alive and get himself a second. 3v3 now. They overlook Lazy. Lazy gets one. Almost the second there on Say You Will. Tapping away at the corner, trying to pre-fire it. It's only Say You Will now, and there it is. Lazy with another multi-kill here on this A site, anchoring it down effectively as Abby supports with 2 of their own. 7-4 for ANTIGRIND. Just look at that scoreboard. It's, 7 of the last 8 rounds going the way of ANTIGRIND after Mega got the pistol round, but it feels like they just haven't been able to really put things together in the gun rounds just yet. And you see Say You Will at the top of the board with 11, and on the other side it's My Line and Knifa with 12 apiece. ADR leader is Jumble. All right. Last round of play here in this first half of action. Knifa looking around with the AWP. Incendiary gets tossed forward. Mega taking their time here, playing defaults. Waiting for those pushes to come through, but ANTIGRIND delivering nothing of the sort. Patience, the name of the game this round. No aggression at all, really, on the CT side. Good smokes. Con and window taken care of. Smoke pop there for Knifa. Doesn't see anyone. Yeah. Timing just off there But my line's waiting and doesn't get anything. Just damage up against Say You Will. Abby will have to be that line of defense that holds the fort. Knifa does manage to rotate around as well, but Abby's gone. Knifa, nice shot onto Say You Will, taking some damage in the process. Jumble hoping to support. What a shot from Knifa onto Vizera over at E-Box. Now he's going to try and knife the player, potentially planting the bomb. No, he's going for the defusal straight up. Cobalt and Strafe's taking down Lazy and Jumble, but Knifa's sticking this. He has absolutely got it. What a decision for him to make. That's just an instantaneous, I'm sticking the defusal. I'm pulling my knife out. We got to try and go for this one. That is the path to victory, and he was absolutely right. If he does anything differently, or perhaps clutches out the round crazily with the op, which he's certainly capable of, then maybe, they lose the round, but unbelievable stuff. Split-second decision, gets the defusal, 8th round found for ANTIGRIND. That is a very high IQ play coming through from Knifa. 14 frags for him as well. Not to mention that second frag was nuts, like the E-Box one. All right. ANTIGRIND, it's suffice to say, in full control right now. 8 of the last 9 rounds going their way. Mega needs this pistol. They got the previous one. Now they need this one to get back into it. Say You Will, gone. Deleted. I mean, they're just swarming this A site now. But at least Cobalt does manage to get one with the bomb planted safely there behind the box. And now it's up to Mega to go for the retake. They do have that kit. Purple Panda has it. Gets tagged down to 18 HP. And now they're just getting dropped by these Glocks. Our Mega of Lazy finds himself another 2. He's really awoken over these last few rounds. Strafes manages to get only 1 before he has dropped himself. Jumbled at 2K. And that is not what Mega were hoping for here. 9-4 in favor of ANTIGRIND. And for Mega, one hurdle they've been unable to overcome here on Mirage is more than 4 rounds won. They've only won 4 on the previous 2 engagements on the map. And they're stuck there once more against ANTIGRIND. All right, we're not live here. Another technical issue coming through, guys. So, I think we're going to have to replay this round. Obviously. Oh, was I given the wrong information? Production? I don't know. Was it not live? Can we get confirmation on that? Okay, apparently that was live, which is actually ridiculous because Mega just had USPs there. That was a ridiculous round if it was live. I'm still not entirely convinced that it was. Just the way it went down, and obviously with a pause being called here. ANTIGRIND's going to be kicking themselves, though. Yeah, it looks like I was lied to. How dare you, production? Okay, so right now what's happening is apparently there was not live written in the chat. And then they said they didn't care after saying not live. Now Abby Dog is disconnected. So, lots of typing in the chat. We'll see what the decision ends up being. as we're still waiting to get going. Second Mirage in a row for us here. Personally, on my side, I'd love to see another map take Mirage's place. I know that's not a popular opinion, maybe a hot take, but it's been in there forever. It's never been out of the pool throughout all of CSGO and now into CS2. And it wouldn't be bad, I would say, to just mix it up and get some new maps in there. Ancient and Anubis are two prime examples of how to introduce new maps. I mean, yes, there were some hiccups at the beginning for each map, but changes were made quickly by Valve. They adjusted, adapted, and now Ancient and Anubis are becoming two of the more popular maps that players like to play on. And I know Mirage is a classic, you know, but I just feel like it would be nice to see something different. And I hope that the next time maps are swapped out for Valve, they do two at the same time, because I think that would be fun to have two new maps introduced and really force players to try and bring a new map into their pool. Anyway, look, that's just my own opinion. You guys might be like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. Why would they do that? Well, you know, yell at me all you want. It's just my opinion, guys. 9-5 for ANTIGRIND. We are going to get going again. That absolutely was an eco round from Mega, guys, that we thought wasn't live, but it was. It was absolutely live, and ANTIGRIND lost it. Now Mega might have a path back into this one, and yep, easy peasy round for them. 6-1 picked up. And they're only 3 rounds back from ANTIGRIND now. And that was a force buy for ANTIGRIND. That is just, if they go on to lose this one, they are going to be absolutely kicking themselves. No question. There's still a lot of Counter-Strike left to be played, but oh boy, ANTIGRIND. Kazera tosses the nade up towards mid. Mega likely going to take care of this round as well. I mean, it's just Glocks and a Deagle coming through. That said, it was only USBs for Mega when they won that round. Kazera spamming through onto Jumble. Say you will. A bit messier than I think he would like in that situation, but he still managed to take care of business on Easy. And then say you will with the last word on the round. 7-9 now. ANTIGRIND going to come through with the AKs. Try to make amends for what happened a couple rounds ago and retake control of this map. Just a little wild there on that round that we thought wasn't live, but it absolutely was. .142 on the clock, and there's Pernurple Panda charging through with the MP9. Needs to get out of there because he's a little bit exposed towards my line, and my line will not have visibility on him. Fades away. Incendiary comes through, Molotov came through, and that was diffused by the smoke, so a bit of miscommunication there from ANTIGRIND in fact, and they will lose a player as a result. Line comes through, gets a headshot, but as he does, Pernurple Panda finds himself 2 towards the B site. My line, the last one standing. A 3v1 in favor of Mega. What a resurgence for them. My line. Coming around here, 1v3 clutch required. Save might be a better idea for him. Spam through the smoke. Now they know exactly where he's coming from, and they just have to spam on back, and that'll do it. Pernurple Panda gets the shot and the frag, and it's 8-9 now. This was a 9-4 lead. ANTIGRIND was in absolute full control up on it against just pistols, and they let that round slip away. Oh, goodness me. 4 rounds in a row off of it. Now Mega's looking for that 5th. In a row, that is. It'll be the 9th for them if they get this, which they probably will up against these pistols. Although they're slipping into this smoke, could get kind of sneaky here. Pizzera's a little sneakier, but only gets 1. That's an AK upgrade available for Knifa. He's going to grab that off the ground, but only momentarily. Strafes takes care of him. Cobalt trying to do damage as well. Only gets 1 before he's traded himself. 2v3, and Sayuil is on life support at 1 HP. Purple Panda going to save his teammate's life more than likely by taking down Lazy, but MyLine manages to get 1 more here in this round. Has bomb control as well, and could split the difference and go to the B site and get a free plant. He's thinking about it. Has to go through that broken wall. But instead wants to peek towards me. Jumps down, probably to his doom. No! Strafes can't lock on the last bullet, and MyLine survives with 3 HP. It is 3 HP against 1. The first player to fire and connect will win the round. MyLine needs to make sure no one's here. Has the time to do it. 35 seconds left on that clock. How has it come down to this? ANTIGRIND trying to hang on to that lead after they had a stranglehold earlier on this half. They let slip away in an anti-eco round. Bomb gets planted. Now MyLine can post up here. But Sayuil is already around this corner. He doesn't know MyLine is low. He's coming out here with the op, which puts him at a huge disadvantage. MyLine sees the op barrel and will finish the job he started. 3rd frag on the board for him in the round, and a 10th round picked up. Believable stuff there coming through from MyLine to get that 10th round across. I honestly cannot believe they converted that one. It looked like it was done and dusted, but MyLine, even though as he jumps down from window, he's at a huge disadvantage. Like, you don't win that fight. You shouldn't win that fight ever. Coming from window, jumping down, and there's a player connector, but he stays alive. Just that last bullet goes astray for the Mega player. And I mean, the comms are probably crazy right now. That's why the timeout's being called here, because they're freaking out. The fact that they won that round. Probably very happy. Now they need to convert on that and gain control of this map once more, because they absolutely had it. I mean, like we already talked about it so many times, we don't have to, go through it once more. But a lifeline was given over to Mega. Mega are trying to make the best of that. Still well within reach. And they've got the buy up to boot. 3 A1Ss, the A4, and the AWP coming through. Sayuil with that big green. He's been, as usual, pretty strong. But here, when he's tested in an important juncture, misses the shot and takes a ton of damage. Down to 7 HP. They do return the favor towards ANTIGRIND, jumble down to 24, and then a nade sails through that doesn't do that much. Pizzera should be able to get this one. He does, but a fantastic trade immediately from MyLine ensures that Jumble's death is not in vain. 3 players coming through for ANTIGRIND. Into mid. They've got that mid control, so they can go whichever which way they like. Watching the right angle, gets the shot onto MyLine. Gives his team a man advantage, perhaps only briefly, though. Abby, okay, more than briefly. That's a 2-man edge now. Make it 3. Knifa, last one standing. He's been so good. He's clutched out his fair share of rounds, but this time, nothing. Sayuil shuts him down, and Mega are right back on the board with a 9th. Money situation is tough for ANTIGRIND. I think this might just be a hero AK. No, are they going to go for it? I don't know about this. Yeah, now they're thinking twice, selling the guns, buying them up. What are they going to do? It's got to be a half buy. You've got to keep at least 1K, 1.4K, I would say, minimum. And that is the case for pretty much everyone. Jumble a little bit lower than that, but that's going to be okay. Okay, so this makes sense now. A couple of AKs, 2 Tech 9s, and the Deagle, managing their economy well and still giving themselves a good chance to come out with a win here in this round. Strafes throws the util, but can't take down the players. Look at the damage done, though, and Cobalt through the smoke snap finds not 1, but 3. 2 headshots and a body shot. MyLine and Lazy are coming back into this round, though. They've got 2 of their own, and we're somehow down to a 2v2 here. with control gained in towards the A site. The problem for ANTIGRIND is the bomb was leaning B. So now they have to go in that direction as well, despite things favoring them for a potential A hit. Lots of time left on the clock, so they could even choose to anchor a player down on the A site and wait for the bomb to be recovered. But the problem with doing that is that if the player runs into someone defending the bomb, then they die without anything happening. And, well, there's the result. They both go towards the bomb. Say You Will regains the space. And now it's down to my line. My line going in. Gets the headshot onto Purple Panda. Now 1v1. Myline has the bomb in his back, and he knows the Opera was posted up a ticket, so he hightails his way over to the B site to plant this bomb. Say You Will in another clutch situation. He is that superstar for Mega. He's putting up the numbers. 25 frags, looking for a 26th up against Myline, who's the top player for ANTIGRIND so far here on Mirage. Myline waiting at bench, peeks around, spots out Say You Will, but cannot damage him at all. Smoke gonna get tossed onto the bomb. Say You Will taps it, fakes it, and gets the headshot as well. Say You Will put it on a show here. 10th round picked up on his back. Entirely on his shoulders was that round, and he delivered. We are tied up at 10. Look at that scoreboard again. I just want to see the ADR. 127 ADR for Say You Will. He came into this one averaging 84.6 ADR, but he certainly had his 100 ADR plus matches, and this is another one of them. Unbelievable stuff for him. On the other side, Mylan's got 110 ADR. He's trying to keep up with Say You Will's pace, but wow. And look at the recovery as well. You see Mega in this second half have really managed to bring things through on their CT side. This is massive. We can't forget the... Oh no, Fazera misses the nade. ANTIGRIND coming through. We'll get back to that point. Cobalt walking out. Jumbo gets the opener. Myline finds the follow-up. They've got A site almost in their hands, but they still got Say You Will to drop. He has been the one that has made the difference round after round here, especially in this second half. He's got the op out. Needs to hit at least one quickly, and now he's lost another body on his side. Strafes, the only one with him, and Strafes does manage to take down Abby. The problem is, they don't know where the bomb's going to be planted. ANTIGRIND left it towards T-spawn. Now it's going to be recovered, but they might not be alive to find out where it does get planted, or even if it will, it won't. Knifa is going to get a couple of frags here. 3K on the round, and just like that, ANTIGRIND are back in the lead. This is a team on ANTIGRIND's side, as I mentioned earlier, that has gone 24 rounds or more in almost every single map that they've played. 5 of the 6 they've played. And aside from that, the other highest one that wasn't 24 rounds was 21. And we're already there. So we've got 2 more at the very least to come through. So ANTIGRIND likes to play some close matches, it seems. Well, I don't know if they like it. It just happens to turn out that way. Knifa is going to get the opener. Fazera going to get the trade, and then a follow-up from Strafes. Great flashbang thrown by Say You Will, and Strafes blindsides Myline to make it a 4v2. Abby Dog waiting. Trigger discipline there to see if anyone else is going to come around, but they don't, so Abby Dog gets that frag. And now they have to rotate around to try and recollect the bomb. This is going to be tough for ANTIGRIND. Fazera clearing things out. No! Knifa headshot onto Fazera. Now down to a 2v2. They don't really have to charge him this direction, and Abby Dog could deal the killing blow. No! Knifa's the one who get the frag onto Cobalt. Now it's Say You Will again in a 1v1. Knifa's got the edge, comes around, and misses the shot. Does Say You Will. Now Knifa's going to have a path to that bomb, and here we go again. Another 1v1 for Say You Will towards this B site to try and clutch it out and keep his team in it. Goodness me. How does it keep coming down to this? Say You Will. Needs an instant shot here on Knifa. Knifa, the advantage, and Knifa will win the round for his squad. Say You Will tried his hardest, but it wasn't going to happen. Knifa, the quad kill, jumps to the top of the scoreboard with 23. And he's been hovering around first and second for the entire series, but that is a great one from him. Absolutely critical juncture for him to find that, and now ANTIGRIND on to map point. despite almost collapsing there after losing the anti-eco, ANTIGRIND have come back here, give themselves at least 2 opportunities at map point. Jumble. On the corner here, it's going to be Abby Dog to get the opener. Jumble, not really connecting much, and in fact, it's only Myline getting 1 after 3 go through for Mega, but right on back are Myline and Lazy to get 2, and that leaves Purple Panda scratching his head, wondering how that all went down, with a brief man advantage that evaporates. Purple Panda spamming with the 5-7 does get 1. 1v1 again for a 3rd round in a row. Myline spots Purple Panda going through. Myline spotted out as well. They both know where the other is. Who will win this game and round? It's going to be the game in favor of Myline with the frag onto Purple Panda. ANTIGRIND take it. Some dramatic moments in this map, guys, but ANTIGRIND will be victorious. Honestly, say you will, deserved a little better with that type of performance, but it was Naifa on the other side in Myline who just topped the scoreboard and those clutch plays round after round when it mattered. So that's going to do it for that one, guys. I'm not even sure. Are we going to get a break here between the matches? I think we're going to get a very brief one. Yeah, okay, guys. We're going to get a brief break before we go in to our main match here. So keep it locked on ESL.